was my second fight.
Your second fight?
Yeah.
I was so impressed with your the way what you did in round one. Like you did MMA. You don't really see that a whole lot. You're starting to see it more where when it's chained together. It's not the hiccups. It's not wrestling to striking. Like you combined all of it and did it fucking fantastically. He was just able to. But the pace that you guys were at, like the pace that beating you put on him was at such a high pace that there's not a cardio way to deal with that.
Yeah,
like you're not going to be able to cardio around that.
Yeah, there's I actually came off the couch. I worked a lot of technique for that fight. Started to understand the actual MMA game with me and my team out at Jaguar. This is my first camp with Jaguar. This is the first camp that they're putting on, and it's last time we talked about consistency, being consistent. And I know that last fight I was not consistent in training at all. I just had an idea of what I wanted to do, and I focused on the technique wise rather than the actual putting it on him. You know what I mean? Because come the fight, dude, I put it on him, and I put it on him.
You definitely put it on him. Dude, it was a lot of output. It reminded me of a Conor McGregor type. Like it was a lot of output, man.
I'm going to be a world champion in multiple weight classes.
I fucks with that, man.
I'm going to be a world champion. There's no. I have to.
I fucks with that, man. That's why and that's kind of why we did this interview, anyways. Because I think that I forget how you exactly worded it, but you were like, when I win or if I win. I think you said win or whatever. Maybe we'll do a collaboration and shit. So
yeah,
I like that, like that flavor that you got and stuff, man. And then you went out there and you did perform fantastically.
I did.
Just that night, it just wasn't. His face was able to take more a beating than you were able to give.
Man, Marcus Nelson, his name is. He's gonna be fighting with me also on the 10th. So I hope he does well. He has the heart of a lion, for sure. Like his heart beat my muscle. That's what happened. My heart wasn't in it, but I didn't prepare. A lot of it is preparing. I'm prepared this fight. I'm going to smash. It doesn't matter who. I'm ready. I think I'm there. You know what I mean?
That fight could have been stopped in round
for improvement for where I want to be at on this fight. I'm where I believe I need to be. I'm really feeling myself.
Right,
you know?
That already starts a couple of questions, but I think that that fight could have been stopped in round one.
Oh, I've had several people come up to me like, you know, even the ref, like the way he stopped it, because like his stoppage was, I was like, okay, whatever. I didn't want to talk to him, but he was just like trying to like reinforce, like, dude, you did a really good fight. And I'm like, I know, dude, I should have won. You know?
No, I'm a fan of I think it's Country Time or some Country Tough or something like that. It's his name, Marcus Nelson.
Yeah, Marcus.
With Jason Powell and stuff. I'm a fan of his too.
Yeah, he's a dog. You know, I just believe that I do have a bigger dog in me. Beings of this is my life. You know, I've been doing this for a very long time. Kind of like how your story is in the bathroom. I've been in the bathroom for sure. I never fought for money because it's just kind of like what men do, at least in my eyes. So like I've always been doing stuff like that. But with me growing up, it's wrestling. I was wrestling. Then I did military stuff, which was really cool.
What type of wrestler are you?
What type of wrestler am I?
Yeah, are you one of those asshole wrestlers that do like the rub in the nose face?
No, I am a funky wrestler. That's a lot of people talk to me that just watch my fights, that watch me wrestle. They're like, you're not fighting how you wrestle. I get that it's two different things, but you're not yourself. Like I'm like, I know I'm working on myself because I'm known for a funky wrestler. I'm known for doing like Magic Man stuff. If you know David Taylor, like me and his style kind of like he's a really good, really good wrestler.
Ben Askren,
I was kind of the same. And they were like, we need you to open up. I'm like, I'm working on it. So I did a little. I don't want to really give everything. Like you have to be at the fight, but I've been working on some things, dude. And I'm gonna really open up. I feel my best. I feel like we're going places. I feel like we're building awesome things with me and my team. I think we're good, dude. I think we're doing really awesome.
How'd you get hooked up with Jack?
It's all I can think about. It's all I can think about. At work, man, I can't even get nothing done at work because I'm just sitting there just shadowboxing. You know what I mean?
When you're obsessed with anything, you'll be successful doing it.
You have
for sure.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah. Manifesting in it is a big key. I mean, it's like a broken code. Like they gave you the cheat. You know what you need to do. Just you got to find what you want to do. You know what I mean? And this is what I believe is for me is this.
How'd you get hooked up with Jaguar MMA?
Ty Lathan, he great guy. He's my coach. I know him from beach wrestling. I actually met him. I bounced around. When I got out of the military, I realized how much MMA impacted my life. So I started doing jiu-jitsu. I started out with Gracie Baja out of Colombia with Mario Sandoval, who's went back down to New Mexico to one of his schools down there. I quit going to Gracie because they weren't really doing striking classes. And I went with Sean Woods at Gracie Humaita, which is really cool. They have a really cool, well-established school, but they only had like one striking class a week. Not something I needed, but the guy that was running the striking class, Alex Jasper, and I call him Muay Thai Mike. That's what's on his. That's what we're learning was Muay Thai. I started doing it with him, and I started getting really close with Alex. And then Alex brought me to judo. He said if I want to be a fighter, judo might have more better stand up. You know what I mean? Rather than just the spur will on the ground. So we started doing judo, and then I met Ty through judo, and then we just kind of hit it off. I started coaching with him through Nick Perler, and I just kind of just hung out with him. Like he wants to be the best in the world, and I want to be the best in the world. And as we know, for us and guys like us, it's only a matter of time. So I surround myself with those individuals that aspire to be those great things.
That's what's up, man. You need to surround yourself with. In order to achieve something, you have to be like-minded individuals. I got a couple of questions. How old are you?
I am 27.
You look like you're 22. You look like a baby.
Right? So
you look like a baby.
Awesome, right? So I'm hoping that everybody's like, oh, the people's prime late 35s. I'm like, man, dude, in my 40s, bro, I'm gonna be smashing, bro. I'm gonna be smashing head. That's gonna be my third. I'll be 155 and be straight. But
and my other question is, what did you do in the military? How long were you in?
I was a combat medic. I was in for 5 years. And that was it. We didn't really do too much because we're not in wartime. It was actually the National Guard, but a lot of that time was actual active. I had a deployment with them and stuff like that with the 3175th to Cuba, so it was really cool.
I appreciate your service.
Actually, Jason Powell, that runs Honey Badger.
Yep.
Right before I deployed, he was running his combatives class for our deployment crew. So I ran through his combatives class right before I deployed. So it was really, really cool. That's how I know Jason and Marcus and all those. I don't personally know them, but I know of them. And they have a really cool. They have Honey Badger Jits. Seems like it's doing very well. My hats off to those guys.
Yeah, Jason's a nut too.
Dude, he is a nut, bro. Man, I remember when he was showing his how to finish people. He was not afraid to finish you. You know what I mean? Which is that's what you need.
He's one of my favorite people because our conversations are always real. It's always there's no sugarcoating from either one of us. It's always a real conversation, and I enjoy that. He doesn't get upset or offended. I don't get upset or offended. We just talk like whatever we got to say to one another. We do. So I'm a big fan of Jace. For real, I've known him for quite a while now. What do you know about your opponent?
Austin Kempker. I don't know. I know that he is a wrestler. I have studied a little bit of film on him through the YouTube, through the videos that he has out there. I just know he's a dog that's hungry, But we'll see. That's literally all I know. I know that I believe he's out of Lake of the Ozarks Jiu-Jitsu or something like that. But I'm not really focused on him. I'm really focused on my game, about what I'm gonna do. A guy that I deployed with, his best friend's sister is Mark, or Austin is his sister, or is his brother, is her brother. You know what I mean? So I actually know them. That's how we got this fight going. Is that his sister or stepsister or whatever, kind of played a middle thing right here. You know what I mean? I was like, I'll fight him. Yeah, it's cool. It's whatever. I'll fight anyway. It don't matter to me. And then he got wind of it, and now we're fighting. Sounds like man. I actually went fishing with his sister's fiance is my buddy's friend that I deployed with.
That's so.
It's military. It's a military family. So we went fishing at Bennett Springs, and we're just sitting there, and they're asking me about my game and my fight. And I'm like, dude, listen, I'm good. I'm hoping he's bringing it. So yeah, they said that he's gonna take me down, and we'll see.
What did you catch that day?
I caught rainbow trout for the first time. My first weekend fly fishing, it was awesome. I had my son on my back for the first day. It was awesome. Like I was very sore. But it was awesome. And they taste so good. I didn't know how good trout taste. I didn't know how good trout like taste. They were
How hard
very
is fly fishing?
How hard is fly fishing?
Yeah.
Man, dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. It was frustrating.
Yeah.
It's peaceful if you know what you're doing, but like it seemed like it's really really cool. It builds patience. It's just like having a kid. It was you have to be patient, very very patient, and I
It's a
think
little bit.
the virtue that is needed for many things, and
Is
that's
it a
what I
little bit of
hear
the
from
opposite of the
fighting.
regular
Like,
fishing?
what was that?
Is it a little bit of the opposite of like regular fishing? Because you throw you're not throwing your rod out there and just leaving it. You're actually trying to throw it repetitively back
Oh,
over and over.
repetitively, for sure, for sure, for sure. You let it sit if you have a good current. You let it sit and you let it go with the current. If you're pretending to be like a dead fly or something like that, um, and then you can actually kind of like work. There's lures like wet lures out there that you can work kind of like as if you're bass fishing, but just the patience in setting the hook. It's like you're not running but like 3 pound, a leader at the end of your line. So like you have to be very very patient. Like I actually caught a bass I wanted to go see how it was doing. So after we got back from Bennett, I went to a little small pond and I was fly fishing for bass. And yeah, I caught a little bass. It's just the patience and just it's slower but faster. It's a fast but slow paced game. It's like yeah, you're always actively doing something, but I don't know. It's
Yeah,
weird.
we fished a lot as kids. I stopped fishing probably about
Yep.
16 though. I don't know why I stopped. I just didn't go anymore. But we fished a lot, man, and fucking it was boring as shit unless they were biting.
Dude, that's it.
I'm not gonna
But
lie,
it
man.
doesn't matter. You're still out there. That's how my brother is. My brother, he's like an aspiring, like he wants to be a fisherman. He's one of those guys, want to be Bill Dance type guys. You know what I mean? And that's all. It doesn't matter if he's catching or not. He's just if he has a line in the water, he's good. And that's kind
He
of like
enjoys
how
being out there.
that's cool with me too. I'm cool with that.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your game plan and your strategy for the fight without revealing too much?
Ooh, without revealing too much, man. I'd rather you just be there. But
I'm gonna be there.
I'm gonna. I don't plan on going all 3 rounds. I plan on finishing the fight.
How's your mental
However
preparation?
that may be, I don't.
We'll get to that finish in a minute.
Yeah.
How's your mental preparation? Like, how do you stay focused and stay on point during camp and shit with all of the, like you have kids, you have a job, you have things that you have to do. How do you stay focused?
That's a very very good question. There's a balance that I have to actively seek out to like work on balancing on a daily basis. Right now, I just told you I'm trying to close on this other house, but we're trying to move out in the country and have chickens. My wife wants to do the sourdough and all this other stuff, so like I'm trying to make that part of like I'm trying to make that happen as the husband. It's my job to make that happen. So like I do have a lot going on, but when I find my peace, when I find my inner self, is when I'm on the mat. So like honestly, that's where I'm at. That's where that's where I'd love to be. Like I don't find it hard to get concentrated on what I'm going to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a lot of people are like, where you're like, what if you never make it there? I'm like, no, there's not a choice. Like I'm gonna make it there. Like I have to. It's a must. Like, I'm going to make it there. It's just a matter of time. I have to.
I never understand people.
My kids,
I never understand people who are like, this is my fallback plan, or if I make it, or how that thought process doesn't produce success. It doesn't produce the results that you're looking for.
That's like preparing. Yeah, no, we don't retreat. We have like, from a military perspective. We have our flag facing that way on our shoulder for a certain reason. We don't retreat. We always go forward. That's what you got to do. And that's what coming back to your question is how can I balance these things? It's just a constant battle. No matter, it's just constant. But I know the consistency is what I talked to you about. Is what I needed. Is I consistently devoted like 2 hours a day training Monday through Friday. That's on top of work. That was consistent no matter what. Just and like hard training. You know what I mean? So I did that, and I am working around that balance with the family. It was kind of grueling, and feelings were hurt, and then compromises were made, and then compromises are still being built. You know what I mean? So we're trying to still figure it out. But it's just my wife starts to see that. Hey, I believe she starts to see like this is actually who he is. This is what this is him. I have to support him, or there's no fruit in this tree for me. So
right.
And I think we're as a family we're starting to understand that.
That's what's up. Don't you live in the country already?
I mean, I live in a country town, man. Like, so Centralia is pretty small, but so I'm from Louisiana. Basil, Louisiana is very, very small, like 1,000 people. Centralia is probably about 3,000. So like, yeah, these are very small towns, but like Centralia is a little bit bigger than me than Basil. I mean, I really just want to be in the middle of the timber with it, just with my family. I don't know. I don't want to see a house next to me. I don't know what it is. I just want to be very primal. I'm a very primal human being.
Did you go turkey hunting?
That was one of the balances. I had to sacrifice that.
Yeah.
I talked to very few. Quite a few people that went and were successful and happy for them and stuff like that. But I'd rather be able to put on a show for come May 10th rather than just get a gobbler this year. There's always next year. You know what I mean?
That's what's up. How's the weight cut? The process is
Man, honestly, the guys at 35 might want to watch out because like weight's not a big issue for me as long as I'm consistently staying healthy and eating semi-correctly. Like my walk around, I'd say true. If I'm bulking, I could probably get up to like 158, but that's like eating heavy and feeling bloated and not as quick as I could be. But like my walk around's like 152, so I'm solid. I'm okay. I think 35 is isn't that too far of a stretch. Actually, talking to coach about it and stuff like that, we might try something like that. Because my goal would be 35 and take fights at 45, and if we're good enough there, maybe at 55.
How long did you wrestle?
I wrestled. I probably started when I was in the probably started when I was like 10. I would say somewhere around there. And
that's a good little stretch.
Yeah, it is a good stretch. And I wrestled, like, even when I wasn't, like, sport competing wrestling, I was always wrestling. Like, regardless on if it was with military buddies out in the grass or out in the motor pool or in the bathroom or whatever, you know what I mean? We were always doing something masculine, just, we're just getting after it, always.
That's what else is there to do? It's fun.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's fucking.
Well, I could tell you like drama, drama, which is kind of the reason why I kind of strayed away from that part. But that's wherever you go. Once I got out, I was like, well, that's wherever you go. So whatever.
So is your diet and your nutrition? You're on point with that?
Oh, absolutely on point. I feel healthy. The healthiest I've ever been. I actually splurged. My wife made some tortellini last night, and man, her tortellini is so fire. So I kind of splurged and ate a little bit of that tonight, which is fine. We're gonna go hit the sauna tonight for some of our guys that's gonna go fight in KC this weekend. So I'll be okay. I'm not really worried about the weight until come next week. I think I'll be fine. I always am. Last two fights I felt very healthy, felt energetic, except come that second round last fight.
Yeah, man, I don't even know. Like, I've been watching fights a long time, and watching that live, I was just like, there's nothing you can really train for that other. It's a mental thing.
Mm-hmm.
You have to pick you have to pick your spots a little better because like you did. It's not a lack of training. I didn't think it was a lack of training. You know more than I do about what you did. Right on. But I just felt that it was like a Conor McGregor type thing where you had done a lot of offense. It was a lot of output, man. It was a lot of output.
That was a thing. But I mean, at that pace, that's what I want to do. And we've come this camp. We've really focused on that. Focused on our cardio. We will not be tired. Any of my guys that are fighting now, like my team, we will not be tired. I've already felt that pain. I'm not gonna let them. That I was hurting come the second round, just not really hurting physically, but just mentally exhausted. Your body just doesn't want to work. And I was like, I don't want to. Not. That's when that heart from that country boy came out, and he got the better of me.
No, I told my kid
that's not going to happen again.
Kid was sitting next to me. We were watching, and I was like, "Oh shit, damn, Danny, he looks tired." Yeah, I think you're taking a deep breath, and your arm just looked heavy on your body.
They were,
and I was like, "Oh shit!" But yeah, So I mean, it happens. This is the learning process that we go through as an amateur.
Yeah, I'm glad that it's amateur rather than pro. I mean, I'm 0-2. I know how to lose. I know it's not fun. I don't want to do it no more. I'm not going to do it no more. The first time I lost, I still felt once I came off once I stepped out of the cage, I was like, man, I should have won that. But it was just like that first time you get in there, it's like totally a different ball game. That was like, now I know the ball game. Second time I came in, I knew the ball game. My body couldn't keep up with what I wanted to do, like we were talking about cardio. So I think I failed. I'd like to say that I failed my body in preparing that fight. I don't think I did that this fight. We'll see.
Your skill set is far superior than your record, but even than your experience. Like you only have only having 2 fights. I don't like you shouldn't be that good. You shouldn't be moving like that with just 2 fights on. Well, it was 1 fight that you had at the time because this was your second fight. Yeah. That's what I was so impressed with. I was like, damn man, look at him. That's a dude's a wizard. And because you were 1 step ahead of him on everything, every time, anywhere and everything, you were ahead of him. Shit, it looked really good. It was super impressive. We'll forget about round 2.
Round 2. Well, I can't forget about it because I draw from. That's where my heat comes from. That's my wood and my burn. I'm like, what's round 2 gonna look like? Because it doesn't matter. Round 1. It's just that's a big ball game. It's like we talked about how he was able to do that because we were like, how did we not just dominate his spirit? And like once you get a dog like that. With their back up against the wall, and they can't. It's like they feel the same way. I can't lose, man. It's really hard to beat a guy when you're just put a beating on him, and he's just like, "Fuck it, this is what it is, bro. We're still here."
He keeps coming,
bro. Yeah, he keeps coming. So my hat's off to him. So like that's awesome. But
no, I talked to him.
I had to realize I had to face that eventually, and I'm glad that I did it earlier in my career. My second ever fight. Now I know not to be like that, So like I said, maybe my teammates, if you come to Jaguar, we're not going to be tired in fights. No, we're going all 3 rounds if we must, but let's try not to.
I talked to him in the hotel room or in a hotel after the fight.
Yeah.
And you know how people always say like, they're like, man, I would have fucking died before I fucking was giving up or giving in. And I don't ever believe motherfuckers when they say that shit. Yeah. Because motherfuckers be bullshit. I believed him 100% because that's what he said. He's like, damn, I would have fucking died before I would have gave up. Right on, and I believed what he was saying. Sure.
He was definitely a dog. I just I don't know. It could have. It was. I was not satisfied with how I performed in round 2. I will never forget that. I was a coward. It was cowardice, and I just gave up on my body. I should have pushed harder. I should have had that in the bag. But that's what fighting's about. I know that pain. I know that pain now, and now I know. Let's not do that. Let's not feel that. Let's not do that.
How important is your team and your teammates and your preparation for this fight?
That was the biggest change that I had between. So my first fight, I literally had it was me, Alex Jasper, and Ty, and Chris Venture, and we had like a handful of select other guys that would train maybe once a week. Come second fight, we may event that up to like 2, maybe 3 times a week. But this last time, I'm with Jaguar. Ty was able to. He owns Jaguar now, so we have an actual home gym that we're drawing all new teammates in, with some select few the guys that we've been having, and it's the only thing. I talked to you about I surrounded myself with Ty because he's aspiring to be the greatest in the world. So we're only trying to take those that's the only guys we want. At least for our MMA program. We have other things, cardio, kickboxing, stuff like that. But come 7:00, we're strapping up and our bodies are going to hurt. Not because we're physically, beating each other up, but we're focusing on you beating yourself up. You know what I mean? Like you got to come in here and you're putting this work in, and we're doing it because of A, B reasons. You know what I mean?
It's the most team-oriented, individualistic sport you can ever do.
It's crazy how it is. Like that's why I'm so I feel so good for this fight coming up is because I've been training with Jacob Gray, Kareem, Trey Duhon, dude, just all these. I got Don. These like they're not in the amateur or pro world yet, but they're like definitely trying. They want to be. You know what I mean? and having just flesh is really good. But Jacob and Kareem, they're fighting this weekend at FAC, so we'll see how they do. We trained hard, really, really hard for these fights. I know me and Jacob did for sure. So we'll see how the Ooga Booga does. That's his name.
Ooga Booga.
Ooga Booga.
So, how do you feel that there's any added pressure for this fight?
Honestly, ever since my first fight, I knew that I was kind of like no, I mean, I feel like there's always pressure in fights, yes. Like on my heart pressure, no. I just want to go in there and fight. You know what I mean? I just want to go in there and fight. I know I feel the pressure of people there. The more and more I fight, I feel more eyes on me. Even though I'm 0-2 and you know what I mean? Like I'm not this great big thing that at least yet that I want to be. I just feel like I feel people's eyes on me. You know what I mean? It's not really. I guess it's pressure, but it's just like, yeah, y'all coming to watch me because of what I do, and this is what I do. You know what I mean? So
we have very similar origins.
This is what we do. This is what I'm going to do for a living. This is how it is.
We have very similar origins. I started out 0-2. My first fight, I didn't even train. I lifted weights and went in there and fought and lost a split decision. My second fight, I fought fucking badass Josh McGrody, who was, I think he wound up being like 11-1 or 11-2, some shit like that. Stud wrestler and shit. I lost a decision. I lost a decision to him too. My third fight, I was like, I didn't feel the pressure. I felt the pressure to train. That's where the pressure was at. So when I got to fucking the night of the fight, it was like this is over and I'm gonna win.
Yeah. So, I feel that. I 100% feel that because we're 100%. The pressure is to train. The eyes are on the training. That's just people not practicing what they preach. You know, I'm sitting here preaching that I want to be, best in the world. Now I'm obviously going to have eyes on me, focusing on what am I doing to take those steps to be the best in the world. And I know for this last fight camp, I did the most I can do. You know what I mean? If not the very most I can do. I did a lot to prepare for this fight, and until I can do this full time, it's going to be really hard, a little slower of a climb, but we're climbing for sure.
How do you avoid burnout?
I haven't. That's teammates. I've teammates. That's if you surround yourself with good teammates that can see it, you can really piggyback off them. It's kind of like marriage. Like it's never going to be 50-50. It's not always going to be 50-50. Sometimes it's 20-70. You know what I mean? But like
it is never 50-50.
Yeah. Right. So, it's never.
It is never 50-50.
Never 50-50. So like when you're training and you're like at 10%, you're like, dude, just I'm physically burnt out. At least me and what we do at Jaguar, we have teammates that we're surrounding ourselves with to pick us up, breathe life into us. Hey, we're getting this done. You know what I mean? We're not really trying to tear anybody down at Jaguar. We're trying to lift people up, and that's why I love Ty so much, and that's why I being my coach. So,
how do you see this fight unfolding? Like, ref says, "You ready? You ready? Let's go." How's the fight? How's the first 30 seconds going? How does the fight go?
Well, I know Austin's gonna want to touch me first, so I mean, he better be prepared for when he tries to touch me, because it's not for free. Dude, just go to war, man. We're gonna go to war. I want to absolutely pick apart his game, whatever he has to throw at me. I want to capitalize on it. Wanting and doing is two totally different things, but just being there and capitalizing on his mistakes is kind of where I want to see the fight, and creating my own paths to victory. Piercing through whatever defenses or walls are placed between us.
Do you visualize yourself winning? Do you visualize the steps, the process of I got to take down here or fucking stuck in with a two?
Many times.
Yeah.
Many times. That comes along the lines of I can't do stuff at work because I'm visualizing. I'm always visualizing it. You know what I mean? I'm always not necessarily to win, just necessarily just things. And the win is fewer of those things, actually. I do a lot more I need to do more wins. I need to do more finishes. I've been doing a lot of transitions. Now, this is something that coach talked to me. Now let's finish. Yes, I've definitely envisioned myself finishing in many ways, many ways.
There's a scientific study out about they took people and they fucking had these people shooting hoops, shooting basketball, and they had one set shooting to practice, and they had the other one to visualize it.
Yep.
Just visualize it, and they came back later, and the people who just visualized it increased more than the people who were actually practicing.
Yeah, that's why I need to visualize the finish. The finishes more. And I'm going to start doing that, but I've definitely envisioned it. Just A, B, or C, which one it's going to be. We'll see. I don't know. Whatever he gives me, I'm going to take it. I told his stepsister, I told his sister, I said, I hope he's his best because I'm going to be my best.
He's pretty good.
That's what they said.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. They definitely didn't give you no gimme or you didn't get no T-balled up one. That's for sure.
Yeah.
How important is it for for your support, your fans, your friends, your family? How important is that?
It's that comes with those eyes, right? Those eyes are on me, and I love them. I love all my fans and all my family, even though they might not necessarily understand why is this dude going out there and getting hit in the head. You know what I mean? It's very, very silly, right? It's a very silly game.
I don't think it's silly. I enjoy it. I think that
right.
It's the oldest thing that humans have ever done.
That's right.
It's fight.
Yeah.
That's what we did since the beginning of fucking time.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, it's definitely the thing, the greatest thing since wrestling. I mean, Eminem said it, so like it is, dude. It's the thing. So even though they don't necessarily understand it, they're starting to accept it more. So I'm starting to actually feel in my heart more support through the family because my wife, we have 3 kids. Like she's very concerned. Like my husband, it's a thing, for just something that for some people, like you might not even get nothing out of it. I mean, I don't feel that's my case because it can't be. It's not going to be. But I understand that. I understand her perspective, but as far as like fans and like family, like their support, yeah, it's always good to have, a herd behind your back. It's always good to have, have a village with you. But I really have to just focus on myself. I can't I'm gonna be king. I gotta focus on myself. If I'm gonna be this shepherd, I gotta prepare myself to defend my sheep. So.
I used to tell my wife, look up how many people die getting out of the shower. Look how many people die having a fucking vending machine fall on them. You can die and get hurt doing anything.
Car wrecks, man. Car wrecks are so bad.
Yeah.
Vehicular accidents. I remember like my buddy, that's his sister, that's his Austin's family, his in-law, whatever. Man, we were talking about how he was deployed, he went to Iraq and stuff like that. He was like, it was almost more dangerous for me to like drive on the road than be out there.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That is nuts.
That's wild. It really makes you think about how like there's a lot. But yeah, no, I love my fans. I love the family. Most of my fans are family. You know what I mean? Like if you know me and if you talk to me, my chiropractor's like, man, I would have never guessed that you were a fighter. I'm like, what do you mean? You're like, dude, you're so nice and you're so outgoing. You're not like one of those just like meatheads. I'm like, yeah, well, there's a lot more to it than just being a meathead. Yeah, we're meatheads, but there's a science to it. It's poetry in motion. Like
yes,
there's a lot more to it than just being a meathead and going out there and taking shots and then dealing shots. It's a lot more than that.
That's the part that I don't think the average person understands. Like people just aren't going out there, especially today's fighters, and just swinging for the fucking fences and trying to just and praying that something happens. Yeah. Like it's set up. It's fucking everything is done for a reason.
That's right.
It is poetry in motion. Who do you turn to for advice in and out of the sport?
And that's hard. Being away from home, being away from Louisiana, really has secluded me. Like I only talk to my wife. I guess my wife would be like, what was the question? What was the question again?
Who do you turn to for inspiration, advice in and out of the sport. Like when you got issues with like things, it's a struggle sometimes to balance that. Like we've talked about, it's a struggle to go to. Yeah, who do you talk to when you're having those moments of fuck?
God, honestly. If not my wife, God. Sometimes I talk because I don't really, at least as a man, as the man I want to be, I don't want to be a person. Even though we should talk about our problems, stuff like that. I feel as if I talk about my problems, that's not something that wants to be talked about. So like I really talk to God. I'm really religious, so I try to spiritually communicate and figure that out. Because then that's all I need really. And if not him, my wife, and if not my wife, my coach. So I mean, there's definitely a chain of command there. You know what I mean? So
right. No, it's a good chain of command too.
Yeah, and I'm like I'm up there. So if I can't figure it out, I have someone in the chain of command that will figure it out. But most of my stuff is I'm figuring it out. I'm figuring it out on my own. I do have a good, I got my God, I got my wife, and I got my coach. So
how did you get from Louisiana to where you're at?
So I was recruited when I was in high school for wrestling, and I went to the biggest paycheck. So Hannibal LaGrange University offered me a pretty big paycheck. So I went out there for a semester. They actually quit their wrestling school. So wrestling wasn't really too fond, and they didn't really care too much about their wrestling program. At least I felt as the university did. So I did that for like a semester. I was introduced to my wife, but I went back to Louisiana and I enlisted in the military through the Tiger Brigade, and I went off to basic and all that other stuff. And at AIT, when I was doing my medical training at San Antonio, I proposed to my now wife. So I went back home. I pipelined for like a couple months in the oil fields and on the line, and then I moved up here with my wife.
We got to talk about that.
Oh, you
worked out in the oil fields?
You look like the type, bro.
You worked out in the oil fields and shit? That's what's up, man.
Yeah, man.
What was that like?
Dude, it sucks. Well, it's awesome.
Yes.
That's exactly what it is. It sucks awesomely. You know what I mean? It was the closest thing that reminded me. As soon as I started doing it, it was out of the military, and the military. As soon as I got out from the training, it was just like embrace suck and all this other stuff, and like that's what you do like on the line. So like I was just thrown in at a really good time. But like my hats are off to those guys all the time. Like it's tough work, and like sometimes only like I know a lot of those guys that drink heavy, and I wish that they didn't. But that's the only way that you can get through it, I know a lot of them feel that way.
I use that profession when I like make jokes about women ain't bitching about wanting to have equal rights when it comes to fucking working in the oil field, are they?
Dude,
that job sucks.
I'm not gonna lie to you. We had one female on the crew, and she was a welder helper, and man, she was something. You know,
she have a chew in. She have a chew in. Was she chewing?
Oh yeah, she definitely 100%, both sides, and a cigarette, dude. Dude,
God love her.
Dude, she actually asked me. She was like, "When I get my truck, you gonna be my welder helper?" And I was like, "Huh, no." I was moving. I was like moving that next week. I was like, "No, I'm moving." But like, I would have been her bitch.
She was gonna bust out that piece on you.
Types. I was like, "Yeah."
Come here, buddy.
Talk to those guys. It's definitely an awesome field to be in. It's good money. It really keeps you active. So if there's a line up here, I wouldn't mind chasing it because, just the work that they do is just vigorous. It's just man work. You know what I mean? You look at all them guys with them boots on and their blue jeans, and they're just They're just like, man, you work out every day. Like, yeah.
TV does do it justice then. Yeah, TV does do it justice then.
Yeah,
because that's the only place I've ever seen. I've never even met anybody. I watched it on TV and stuff, and it looks fucking intense. It looks like it would be fun. A lot of fun. Because my job used to be fucking. A lot of people would we work 12, 14, 16-hour days, so motherfuckers fall. They can't handle that shit mentally more than anything.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I grow strength from that shit. Like I embrace the suck, and that's what fucking people don't get.
Nope.
So What was the?
It was really cool. We're talking about work, the pipeline. It's really cool. Like throwing skit, like
We're talking about
it's
you. We're talking about you moving too, though. So you're
Oh, yeah,
wrestling.
yeah.
You got to be a dope ass wrestler to get a fucking college to say, "Hey, come here and we'll pay for your schooling."
Yeah, I think, man, I had an envelope with all my offers that I had. Man, I had like literally like 52, and there was several.
So you were a dope ass wrestler.
I mean, I was
had,
good. I was good from coming from where I would like to say, like, Basil always had a wrestling program, and we definitely had some like we actually are like one of the only, we have the only 5-time state champion, Jimmy Vidrine out of Basil. He's a 5-time state wrestling champion. There's never been another 5-timer, and we have a couple 4-timers, we have a couple 3-timers, but consistently after, like, I was kind of coaching my my high school wrestling program when I was in high school. Like through like it kind of started more my sophomore year after I won my state freshman year. Sophomore year, our high school, our football coach was our wrestling coach. So like they would draw to me, and I was going to these camps and these other things, and I was really trying to learn the game of it. You know what I mean? So like I was kind of like coaching my high school teams. And once I moved away, and I was able to go to the next level, all my guys that I had coached down there, they kept that they kept it up. Basil was like one of the best wrestling programs in Louisiana right now. I'd say they're top 10 for sure out of the whole state, no doubt in my mind. Consistently,
that's what's up. But if you play college, anything,
they win like 4 team state championships. So
that's dope.
Yeah, it really dope for them. I was like, man, why couldn't we do that while I was here? But we were definitely paving the way. I was definitely
you were the start of it. Yeah.
Yeah, we were definitely building a village and all these other things, and my dad and all these other people definitely played a big part into all that. It was never just one person, but a lot of people played into like that. And once I got my college scholarship, one of our other guys, Gavin Chris, he was a 3-timer or a 4-timer. I think he was a 4-timer. He got a scholarship, so then all these colleges started looking to Louisiana more. So it's really cool. It's really cool to be wrestling at that point in time. So yeah,
if you play any college sport, you're good. You're really good at what you do.
Because, yes,
yeah, you're fucking good.
The funny thing is that I was actually one of the, like I was decent in track too. So like I was actually thinking about doing some track stuff through Hannibal LaGrange too, because like I said, if I was going to do it just for education, that's
what events
I've done it for, because their wrestling program, we had very good wrestlers, but just the respect that the university had for the wrestling program was not there. Maybe for individuals that wrestled, but the wrestling program, you could tell that,
What track events did you do?
Oh man, I did so the 4 that I like normally always did was javelin, pole vault, the 2 mile and the mile. But I would occasionally do like the 300-meter hurdles, the 4x4 and the 800 and stuff like that, But I did not like those at all, man.
I'll tell you what, I wasn't laughing at anything like that because it's great that you did all that. But I was like, because you said track and I make jokes all the time, and the first thing I thought of was like, did somebody not tell him he's white? Because you can't run the 100 to 200.
I couldn't, bro.
And then you named all of the sports that you fit it right into, or all.
Yeah, right. So I mean, honestly, it's really funny because our guys, our colored people, my friends, they were way faster than me in the 100, but I would beat them in the 40, or I would come close. I was very quick, but they were very fast. So I was not a 100-meter or 200-meter type guy. Like, I just don't understand how their legs move that fast. It's crazy.
When did you cut your hair, and why?
I cut it after I lost my second fight.
Yeah, it was the hair's fault, right?
It was. I mean, it was not the fault. It's greasy. I wanted to grow it out for every year that I was in the service. So I was gonna grow it out for 5 years. But man, once it got past my shoulders, like this 2-year mark or like a year and a half, it's a lot. It's like it needs its like it needs its own thing. It's like a human being on my head.
I had a mullet. I would have cut my mullet a long time ago, but my wife bitched about it every day. So really? I had to keep it just a little longer to piss her off a little bit.
I like
But
it.
no, it does its own thing. It becomes an issue or something you got to maintain and do
It's a
all day
maintenance,
long.
and I could not devote the time and to maintain it on top of this big old platter that I'm building. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I loved it. Like I was always cool for the long-haired rebel boy type stuff. You know what I mean? But I feel ever since I cut it off, I'm like, all right, bad juju's off now. let's roll with it. You know what I mean?
Before we get out of here, give me a fight ending prediction. How does this fight end?
If it don't end in the first, it's going to end in the second.
How?
Whatever way. That's a good question. Now you're really asking me to give away the game plans. You know what I mean? But
okay, you're good. You're good.
but
I'm just guessing from being the outside, and you guys are both wrestlers. I would imagine you guys stand a lot.
I'll be honest, and so this is honesty is a big virtue of mine that I strive to always be honest, even if honesty is kind of a hard thing to do. If Austin, I don't know if he's training as hard as I am. I don't think he is. There's no way. I don't think he is. So like if he gets tired, and I've seen in his YouTube videos that when he gets tired he loses. If he gets tired in the first, it's going to end in the first. If he's tired in the second, it's going to end in the second. I'm going to be on top of him. I'm going to be pressuring, giving him heavy pressure, whether it strikes or just controlling pressure over his throat. Does not matter. It's going to be ended. You know what I mean? I just think that he's not training as hard as me. There's no way he is. I think TKO in the first or second is not far stretched. I think that's definitely one of the big things. That's my goal. I'm looking to put him down. If not with one punch, 3 or 4 will do.
That's what's up, man. Hey, I appreciate your flavor. I appreciate your time talking to me, chopping it up, man. Good luck to you. Do your thing, and I can't wait to see you because I get to announce that night too.
Yes, awesome, man. I'll see you there, man.
Hey, brother. Good luck, man. I'll talk to you. Hey, appreciate it.
You have a good one. Later.